So today we have to talk about how consensus All-American linebacker and the best player at Penn State and Micah Parsons should have been a Buckeye and how they screwed that up. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I'm not on the step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today, I want to talk about number 11 for the Penn State Nittany Lions. That would be the Micah Parsons, who was absolutely a monster against the Memphis Tigers in the Cotton Bowl earlier today. Many of you will know Micah Parsons from way back in the 2018 class, and I want to talk about that. But first, I want to acknowledge that, hey, Memphis, when you spread out and you forced Micah Parsons into coverage, you had great success. When you went with a two-back set, he just destroyed you and blew you up, for which I kept going, yo, man, just go with the spread, let Brady White cook. No, y'all just decided to let Micah Parsons just have at your backfield. My man eclipsed his total number for tackles in a game this season with more than 14. He had 14 against Michigan. Coming into this game, he had 95 tackles. He had like 11 for a loss. He's a consensus All-American as a sophomore. He's the first Penn State Nittany Lion to accomplish that feat since 1998 when LeVar Arrington did it. That's how good Micah Parsons has been. And for a guy that played running back and was defensive end in high school, his transition to a true blue second-level linebacker has been absolutely awesome to see. First as a true freshman where I was really bullish on him, and now as a sophomore to where next year he's going to be talked about in the same kind of context that we talk about Clemson linebacker Isaiah Simmons as a dude that is going to go in the first 10 picks of the 2021 NFL draft, up there with Trevor Lawrence and the like. I look at Micah Parsons, I see an absolute athlete, I see an absolute monster, I see a dude that comes off the edge and is awesome. I also see a guy that ought to been in the scarlet and gray and was all ready to commit to play for the Ohio State Buckeyes, right? Now, what had happened was Parsons and his family took a visit to Ohio State for a game in which game day was there and on set, right? So they had one of the assistants was leading the tour. They stopped by game day. Mike Parsons saw Lee Corso. He saw, then Eddie George and Kirk Herbstreit took a photo with Eddie George, posted it to Twitter. We find out later, Ohio State reported an NCAA violation and self-reported it and decided there were sanctions involved. One of those sanctions was to stop recruiting Micah Parsons. Why? Because Eddie George played at Ohio State and it's against NCAA regulations for you to take photo and act in that role because the NCAA is stupid, but you also can't recruit the best player possibly in the 2018 class, especially for Ohio State, and a dude who would have been an absolute terror for the Buckeyes. Not that the Buckeyes have actually missed him in a real way, because obviously they made the college football playoff and they did it undefeated. They could go down in history as one of the best college football teams of all time if they managed to run the table, yada, yada, yada. I'm making this before they play Clemson, so you understand. But it would have been awesome to see Micah Parsons in the scarlet and gray. Not to say that he's not been great for James Franklin and Penn State, but you'd rather have Micah Parsons than not. I think we all would agree about that. And when you've seen what he was able to do against Memphis and you've seen what he's able to do against the Big Ten, he had like 5 games with double-digit tackles. He can be everywhere. He can do all those things except play in pass coverage, but you don't really need him to play in pass coverage. You need him to play as a Mike linebacker in the NFL at 6'3", 245 pounds, legitimate 4.4 speed, tear off the edge. My man was doing push-ups on the sideline in the fourth quarter as they're playing Memphis. Like, yo, man, now he's showing up. Not to say nothing of both Mark Jones and Dusty Dvorak were just, all over Micah Parsons. But I wanted to relate that story, one, to underscore just how much it sucks that the NCAA gets to have this say and what the kiddos are doing and how they're enjoying being recruited. 2, to say, yes, Ohio State, all you had to do was keep the man from taking a photo with Eddie George. Like, nobody really would have known that he met Eddie George or that he talked to Kirk Herbstreit. It'd have been fine. They'd have kept it moving. But as my man Stringer Bell said once at a boardroom, why are you taking notes on a criminal friggin' conspiracy, Micah Parsons? I want him to be able to do that, but it's a good joke, right? I think that this is working out for everybody involved. You would have rather have Micah Parsons part of your 2018 class, But are we even sure that Micah Parsons would have got onto the field? When we know that he's going to be up there with Baron Browning, with Malik Harrison, with Tuff Borland? Maybe. Maybe not. Well, we know that he was going to play linebacker and not defensive end for Larry Johnson Sr. on what has become the best defensive line this side of Clemson. Maybe, maybe not. We do know that he is the star player at Penn State, and that would include KJ Hamler and, of course, Sean Clifford, Journey Brown, Noah Kane, whoever else you want to throw in there, and big defensive tackle they got. I genuinely love watching Micah Parsons play. I feel really good about being able to watch him for another year before we have to say sayonara, because that man is going to go get paid millions and millions of dollars to play in the best professional league in football. And I just wanted to relate, one, why you should be paying close attention to recruiting, how some of the stories around college football are so awesome because you don't need to make up anything. It's all just true. Just take a look at how your man's Micah Parson ended up at Penn State when all they had to do was take his phone out of his hand before he snapped a photo and posted it to Twitter. But they didn't. So now here we are. That's it for me. Doses.